It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
In the words of my co-host Ryan Ermanni, let's talk some sports. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. I'm your host today, Braylon Edwards, with my guy, Terry Foster. How you doing, T-Foss?
Good to be here. I get the glow today again with Neil. I'm so excited to be here on the final word.
Neil was very happy yesterday. He had a lot of shots that he took. He said he couldn't look JB directly in the eye. He couldn't talk to Fletch directly in the eye. I asked him if he wanted water, if he wanted coffee. He says he's finally arrived now making it to this show.
Yeah, I know he was on here yesterday, but I got his ass. I've been on twice in a week.
This is twice in less than 7 days. So, Terry Foster, you're doing well. Shout out to my other co-host, Tom Mazawey. How you doing over there, big guy?
I'm good, B. Shout out to Ryan and his family.
Yes.
We miss you.
Yes, we
And,
do. Love you, buddy.
We love you. And T-Foss, I love always when you're in the house.
Love to chop it up a little bit. It gets silly sometimes.
Let's just have some fun. Let's just talk. Let's have some conversation. And talk. Speaking of conversation, man, you start off with something hot off the presses. Tiger Woods. Take me there, man.
Tiger Woods' girlfriend, and you saw her.
Which one?
Well, this is his latest one.
Okay.
The one that you've seen when he won the Masters. Remember when he won the Masters?
I do.
It's that woman.
2019.
It's that woman. And it looks like she signed, what do you call those things?
An NDA.
An NDA, a non-disclosure.
agreement.
When you date Tiger Woods, I guess you have to sign on the dotted line. So she told the New York Post today, at least the New York Post put it out there. You got to love the New York Post, one of my favorite papers in America.
I do miss the Post.
It's great.
Yeah.
The New York Daily News, the New York Post, the headlines are always phenomenal. Anyway, Tiger's girlfriend, it looks like they have not been seen together since last August. So it's been quiet. You haven't heard that they broke up or nothing, but it kind of seems like they are done. And
sounds like Harbaugh and Ward, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little shorter than that little divorce.
I thought they were in love forever.
She wants the NDA to be ripped up because she thinks sexual assault or sexual, what's the other sexual thing? It's not sexual assault. It's
aggression, sexual misconduct.
Sexual misconduct.
Not that I know anything about
She
that.
thinks that should void an NDA. But Tiger's lawyers are steadfastly saying no. So I don't know what she's got on the docket or what she's got on Tiger or what he's put her through in the last few years. But she wants to talk, but she's not allowed to talk.
Here we go, man. So I'm going to start with this. And Terry, I'm going to swing this right to you. Whenever you're in a situation when you're dealing with a billionaire or you're dealing with somebody on that level, 400 million, 500 million, 600 million, up to $1 billion or more, when you have to sign an NDA, you know what time it is. Like, that is a time to sit back and think, do I want all the smoke that comes with a billionaire? Do I want all the things that this non-disclosure agreement is going to make me cover up or not be allowed to say? You got to think about that when you're going to that situation.
Well, that's true, but, on Tiger's part,
ain't no buts.
Don't get the waitress in the donut shop, all right?
But they're the only ones that's going to put up with that foolishness.
Right. The women that he's messing with, they're like, all right, okay, I have to sign this, cool. Because when we go out, I'm going to get the best champagne, the best meals.
Jewelry, clothes,
whatever I
car.
want. So you put up with that stuff. But then, at the end, Tiger Woods, man, that guy is, I wish we knew what he was like behind closed
the depths.
He's probably doing some weird stuff.
But 100%, that's all of them, though. Like, when you start to get into that eccentric billionaire life, like, I don't like.
Well, we heard about him.
Oh, 100%.
We heard, how many porn stars he's been with and living the life that a lot of us guys.
But that's like normal.
I know. A lot of us guys were like, oh, wow, lucky guy. So I guess this girl had to know what she was getting into.
And this is what I will say. The fact that today is International Women's Day, and so it is on International Women's Day. Shout out to all the women out there. We appreciate everything you've done. So it's tough that we're having this conversation on today. But I'm not condoning anything aggressive or illegal that could have been done. That's not where I'm starting this. But with that being said, just things on the surface, you dealing with these billionaires, like, you know what you're getting yourself into. Like, when you're like, all right, cool, I love that he gave me a Porsche for a gift on date 1. I love that he gave me this diamond necklace in week 2. I love that these things are going on. you got to make those decisions walking into that relationship. NDA.
And there's a lot of women who will make that decision. But if you
No
want
dumbass.
somebody to sign an NDA, means you either really, really, really freaky or you doing something abusive.
Her name is Erica Herman, by the way, and she thinks, she wants the NDA nullified over sexual harassment clause.
That's why you do the NDA, because you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
That's Mrs. Jackson, if you're nasty. But the good thing about that is, I'm pretty sure she could take her case, get a lawyer up, take her case to somebody. Anybody will gladly represent her for a chance to get a crack at Tiger and some of that money that he has. If she really was put in situations that were sexually explicit or sexual misconduct, we'll know.
That's true, but here's
because there's
the
a lot of
problem.
people just looking for a payday too.
Yeah, but they'll scare her because Tiger Woods got big lawyers. I mean, she's not going to get somebody
Keyword
really big time. Yeah, and that's plural. But they will threaten her, if you do this, if you even start, we will crush you. We will destroy you. So don't even start.
She was working at Perkins. How much more could you destroy me?
Hey,
You can destroy
I was
people.
working
You
at
can
Perkins.
destroy anybody. So she can't even work at Perkins when they done with her.
does this make
Big
him?
boy is hiring.
Does this make him look bad anyway? Even if she wants this NDA torn up, doesn't it make it seem like he's been a bad boy?
The one thing about it, and I'll give pushback, like we've heard things about Tiger, so this isn't anything new. But the one thing that I will give pushback is once an individual falls from grace, once an individual have things that come out about said individual, whether it's, I'll give you an example, Chris Brown. Chris Brown, musician, talented musician. He got into a situation with Rihanna when he was 20 years old. Anytime a girl says anything about Chris Brown now, it's automatically you think Chris Brown has done it. You think Chris Brown has beat up another female. You think Chris Brown has done this. So after the situation with Tiger Woods where he got caught with 10 different women, his woman beats his car up and he gets in trouble and all that, now anything that happens, anytime a woman says anything, it's going to perceive to be true that Tiger Woods has done it. And that's why I said you got to take a step back and push back. You signed the NDA. Terry and Matt, you signed the NDA. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, you signed the NDA, and if you don't sign it, you're not gonna get this diamond necklace. I will drop your ass, and we're getting along right now. So people sign stuff. Plus, you worked at Perkins.
So you gotta
Well, I don't know
If you work at Perkins, you'll sign anything.
This girl didn't work at Perkins. This is someone else.
Oh, okay.
This is someone else.
Where'd she work?
Where did she work?
Buffalo Wild Wings.
He's been with someone that worked at Perkins.
Okay, all right.
He's been with someone. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, it's not.
Nothing.
But you would think Tiger Woods would get someone maybe a little more classy or with a bigger title.
But sometimes guys in that position, they don't want that because they don't want the responsibility that what comes with that. Like sometimes you get women in that role, a woman that is on your level, or classy as you, a woman that has her MBA, a woman that is professional, is business-like, blah, blah, blah. Now you got to be on your P's and Q's. Now you got to be on your best behavior. And sometimes you just want a girl that works at Perkins that doesn't know very much in your mind, your thought process, where you can kind of be the big dog and play with her mind.
And you can take advantage of her.
There you go.
Bam.
So maybe I'm
You can tell her anything.
Maybe I'm coming around.
Maybe she do?
Maybe she should.
You gonna start hanging out at Perkins?
No, I'm not gonna start hanging out at Perkins. No, not at all. Jerome Bettis told me a long time ago. This is right when I was about to come into the league. Shout out to big bro Jerome. Jerome was like, "Hey Braylon, man, you may want to think about not NDAs, like having them at your house, because this is when guys were starting to get in trouble around like 2002, 2003, 2004." And Jerome Bettis recommended this to me, and I was like, if I gotta make a chick sign an NDA, man.
Wait a minute. Now, when you walk into the house, there's a stack of papers over here?
Yes, legitimately.
Hey, baby, sign this before you come in.
Yeah, it would protect you.
Why the hell didn't Deshaun Watson do that then?
That's too many NDAs. That was too many NDAs.
Yeah, he'd have to do like the old newspaper print.
Keep reeling them down.
At least my man Derek Jeter never did that.
Allegedly.
Jeets never got in trouble.
Allegedly,
Jeets never got in trouble.
Never got in trouble.
Never.
But that doesn't mean he wasn't out here.
He had NDAs.
Yeah.
Now, supposedly, I don't want to, trash on your boy because I know how much
up here.
I know how much you love the Yankees. But supposedly, Derek Jeter, when he was getting his swerve on, would say something as he's having sex we be screaming his name.
Jeets.
Jeets.
No, yeah, Jeets.
Yeah, Jeets.
Yeah, Jeets.
Yeah, Jeets.
That's the name of my fantasy baseball team.
What do you scream when you get your swerve on, brother?
I haven't screamed in years.
What the hell did you just say?
Yeah, exactly.
He screams, hey, you with the Bray. Deny it.
Hey, man, we about to go to commercial early, messing with
See, you didn't deny it.
No, first of all, that's not me. But I heard, like, real talk, around the time I was playing for the Jets, that was one of the major disagreements that A-Rod and Jeets got into is during the game. A-Rod said that Jeets is going up to hit. Hey, Jeets.
That's cruel.
Jeets. But anyway, we got to get the show back on the rails. Lamar Jackson. Maz.
Well, today's free agency.
It is. We got to talk about a ton of free agents. I want to talk about some players that we should bring to the Detroit Lions. I think we've talked enough about what are they going to do at pick 6? What are they going to do at pick 18? What are they going to do at 48? What are we going to do with this draft capital? It's time to start talking about some players in free agency that they can go after. One of them, could it be Lamar Jackson?
That's what Maz wants.
Could Lamar Jackson be?
Listen to me. Before you guys jump on me and say Lamar Jackson, I want Lamar Jackson.
Want him.
Listen to me. First of all, you know I want to draft a rookie quarterback, but that's not going to happen. So, all right, let me put it out there. Neil just talked about it. Of course, he's the opposite of me. Lamar Jackson is obviously got the tag on him, the non-qualifying tag, meaning any team can offer him a deal. And if the Ravens do not want to accept it, do not want to match it, he goes to that team and they get 2 first-round draft picks. So they'd get one this year, maybe one next year. I don't know how it works out. They're not going to get both from this year. So let's say the Lions do sign him to a deal. Let's say it's 5 years, $250 million.
Ooh.
Because, you know, he's going to want $50 million, right?
Correct.
He's going to want $50 million.
Okay.
So let's see. I don't know how much of that $250 is guaranteed, but let's say they sign him to that.
I'm guessing it's $150 million guaranteed.
Yeah, okay. $150 guaranteed. So that means you trade Jared Goff and you perhaps maybe get a number 1, number 2 pick for him. I'm just putting it out there. Don't jump on me yet. Here's the question I'm going to put out to you guys. Do you feel if Lamar Jackson comes here to Detroit and becomes a starting quarterback in 2023, this team can not only win the division, which is pretty weak right now, especially when Aaron Rodgers is going to skip out of town. Not only will they win the division, but they have an opportunity to get to the Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson at quarterback, with that offensive line, with the running backs they have, and the wide receivers they have, even prior to this year's draft and free agent period opening up. I'm putting it out to you guys. Do you think the Lions can win?
All right, can I
Get
ask you a
to a
question?
Super Bowl.
Terry, hold on.
Get to a Super Bowl.
This is gonna be good.
With Lamar Jackson as their quarterback.
Let's do this. Let's let the audience marinate on that for 2 seconds. T, you and I think about that. Maz, great question. Maz, tell us about Custom Health, and we'll get back into that.
That's not me, but I'll tell you about
Tell us about
Custom Health.
Custom Health. You got it today?
JB Smooth.
Get your
JB Smooth.
customized approach to weight loss. Think of all the ways that weight affects your health, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Custom Health Centers is blessed to have had over 20,000 success stories. It is their honor to help many professional athletes lose weight and help improve their health. People like Detroit Lion Eddie Murray and Detroit Pistons Rick Mahorn. Start losing weight today. Call Dr. Jason and Custom Health Centers at 844-789-8446. Once again, that's 844-789-8446.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards on a beautiful Wednesday with Maz. Shout out to Terry Foster joining us on the desk today for Ryan Ermanni. Right before we went to break, Maz asked a great question. He said, if you were able to bring Lamar Jackson into the Detroit Lions right now, no matter what it took, that wasn't really the question. It was, does that turn them into the Super Bowl favorite, or does that turn them into a team that can get to the Super Bowl this year? Terry, your thoughts on that?
I want to know, am I allowed to ask Maz a question before I answer that question?
100%.
Maz.
Yes, sir.
Will the forward pass be outlawed in the NFL next year?
No, Terry, it will not be outlawed.
Okay. Right.
And you know what? Lamar Jackson can throw as well as anybody.
Okay. Then my answer is no.
Okay. Why is your answer no?
Because I just don't like the way he throws the ball. Yes, he can throw it. Yes, he can sling it. But it's not consistent enough for me. I'm willing to gamble on Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, first of all, he costs too much money, $50 million. It's going to be more than $50 million, but it's going to be $50 million.
Mahomes gets 50.
Okay.
He can't make more than Mahomes.
Okay,
well,
Patrick Mahomes.
He signed his deal earlier, too.
I understand.
Like Mahomes actually is getting, I think, 49 his first year. I think he signed his deal earlier to give them a discount, if you will. So
he doesn't deserve more than that. So he's going to get less than Mahomes. That's less guaranteed money.
Russell makes more than that.
It's less guaranteed money as well. Before you answer, Terry.
but the way it works is the later you sign, the more you make. Hey, remember this time went crazy because Matthew Stafford was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL
for like a week.
2017.
Huh?
2017.
Yeah, for a week.
Yeah, for a week. Now he's like 50th.
Right.
So that's the way it works.
I know, and Mel Tucker got his money, and we all said that day, this is probably going to be cheap when it comes down to it.
Still expensive.
He's still coming, by the way. Tucker's still coming. But Terry, Lamar Jackson had no receivers and no running backs in all his years with Baltimore. He's coming here now, and there's been rumors over the past couple of years that Detroit was a place that he'd like to play. And I'm going to tell you this. Bet online right now, the odds for Lamar Jackson to go to a different team if Baltimore does not sign him, and guess who the favorite is? The Detroit Lions at 3-1. 9-2 is the next team. So 3-1 is a solid favorite. Yeah, you could bet right now on Bet Online that the Lions sign Lamar Jackson if he is not a Raven.
Here's my biggest thing with that. To answer your question, no, the Lions aren't the favorite to win the Super Bowl, or they're not going to be in the Super Bowl if they were to get Lamar Jackson. I don't think that's feasible, and I don't think something they shouldn't do. Here's why. Lamar Jackson, the last 2 seasons, and I love Lamar Jackson. I've gone on record in saying what the Baltimore Ravens has done, I think, is lazy, it's dirty, it's grimy. Everything that you say you want a player to be when he gets drafted, he's been that and more. So he should have been rewarded with a contract already. With that being said, it's also on the business side of things. He has not finished the last 2 seasons. In the last 4 seasons, he's been injured 4 times. Like, he does not finish at the end. In the fourth quarter, he struggles. Yeah, he hasn't necessarily played with key wide receivers. Hollywood Brown, Bateman, Duvernay, and all those guys were hurt at some point. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, running backs have been injured. But with that being said, that magic part of the career, Terry, here's the part that you get scared about when you're talking about Lamar Jackson. This is going on year 6. This was an option year that just passed. This is year 6. I'm scared that if I get Lamar Jackson as a Detroit Lions fan, now what the Atlanta Falcons chooses to do, that's completely on them. They're a different organization. I think they could use Lamar Jackson. But for the Lions, that magic part of Lamar's window, I think, Maz and Terry, I think it might be gone. And when I mean by magic, that running 4-3, like that spin move and those exciting moves that he was doing in year 1, year 2, year 3. Notice in year 5 last year when he put on 20 pounds, so he put on 20 pounds so that he didn't get hurt. And he got hurt. Notice early in the year he looked a little slower on that long run.
He can lose the weight.
Understand, but he gained the weight to stay healthy. And
but he don't have to anymore. He's got a great offensive line and some great weapons. He doesn't always have to run anymore. But he's not going to run for his life.
But when I'm
if he doesn't run, why do you want him?
Part of the thing that makes him special is because he is so elite at running. But oh, by the way, he's a better passer than most people give him credit for.
On the run.
This is year 6. That 4.3 is now 4.5. Like all that running around, he's got nicks and bruises and injuries. Those things are going to start to hurt. My knee hurts now for something that happened 10 years ago.
I know.
Like that stuff is going to change. So if you're not in the pocket like a Joe Burrow, if you're not in the pocket like a Josh Allen, who struggled last year too, where's the dynamite part of what you used to be? Now I miss the Magic years, and I'm getting a guy that's just really good versus spectacular exciting. That's the thing I fear for if I'm the Detroit Lions or a comparable organization trying to get the Lamar Jackson.
This is my biggest fear with the National Football League is when you sign a free agent for buku bucks, you're paying for what he did 5-6 years ago. This
Miguel Cabrera.
This is a young man's league.
Yeah.
At least Cabrera went into his 30s before he faded.
Well, I'm saying he got his money because of what he did.
Sure, for what he did.
Yeah.
But then, in the National Football League, then that's really hurtful. I mean, you bringing in Lamar Jackson, you think he's going to light it up. And when he doesn't, and when he gets hit several times, I don't care how good the offensive line is, he's going to get hit at some point. And he's going to be lingering. He's going to be, damn, this stuff really hurts here.
Yeah.
I can barely make it up and down the field. When he loses the athleticism, he's no good.
But who says
he's not going to become
Who says
Frank
he's going to
Tanana.
lose it?
Look at what happened to Cam
Look
Newton.
how long Mike Vick lasted.
But see, Michael Vick was an elite passer too, though. Like he didn't get the kind of like Mike Vick had a rocket launcher arm.
Yeah,
he had
he
a
does.
beautiful tight spiral where he could put the ball in some tight, beautiful windows. That never was the thing about him. The thing about him was that he runs a lot, but what happens is when you take him out of pocket, he's looking to run as opposed to pass. But he was always an elite passer of the football, and that's why it's a perfect example. Because you see what happens when the legs start failing after he goes to jail, gets out of jail after 2 years. He gets to the Eagles in 2009, 2010. He still had a Pro Bowl 2 seasons as an elite passer, only having to step out of pocket a little bit. But look what happened to Cam Newton. Look what happened to a guy that really relied on his legs and was just an okay thrower. He was pretty decent throwing the football. Cam was pretty good early on. But then what happened was the athleticism starts to fade, those injuries, going up, doing those flips over individuals, getting hit, a lot of unnecessary roughness calls they did not call in the NFL. We know about that. Now all of a sudden it starts to happen and you fade a little faster.
And why do we know Cam Newton today? Not because of his running, not because of his passing. We know him because of his hats.
That's why you're wearing yours today? You're representing him?
Right, I'm representing Cam Newton.
Well, he did. He was quite a dresser. No question about that. But he got to a Super Bowl.
He did.
He got to a Super Bowl.
And he won MVP.
Before he faded.
And then it was...
I just don't think Lamar Jackson is on the downside of his career.
Right. I don't think he is either, but at the same time, when you're in the front office, these are the decisions you got to think about. Like, these are the decisions that you have to make. And if you're a front office and you're not the Baltimore Ravens, you're like, hey, man, I hope it works with Lamar Jackson, but I can't take the risk of paying him for what the Ravens should have paid him for, and it doesn't work with me. I can't take that risk this day and age.
You know the injuries.
Yeah.
You know what he did to his knee last year. Can he come back stronger?
Yeah, I think he can. But there's also a side that he can't. Like when you're paying this type of money, like Maz, we're going into.
Well, they're gonna look at him.
Yeah, exactly. And when I'm looking at him, we're going into a new spectrum, a new world of money. We're not talking about paying him what Daniel Jones got paid. We're not talking about paying him what Derek Carr is getting paid. We're not talking about paying him what Jared Goff currently makes. We're talking about paying him upwards of 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. When I'm looking at that, my eye opens a lot bigger than when I'm looking at 35. At 35, I'm kind of like, yeah, all right. I'm glossing over things at $35 million. At $50 million, Maz, as a GM, a president, and an owner, I am breaking down the littlest details. I'm breaking down how he gets out of the car in the morning. Ooh, looks like his knees kind of hurt. I don't know. It looked like his knee was stiff. I'm breaking down everything for $50 million a year.
Okay, here you go. You're going to pay Lamar Jackson or Jared Goff $50 million. Who are you paying?
Terry? Neither is my answer, but...
You have one of them.
Yeah, if you're forcing me to pick one.
Because they're not going to take a run. They're going to take a quarterback with the number one pick. We already know that.
But you know what? If Jared Goff is coming in with $50 million, you can get rid of his ass. At that point, I would hope to have some young guy ready to go.
When? They don't draft him.
They will one day.
When? This is the last time they're picking in the top 10.
They might do it this year. Who knows? But get somebody. I mean, they have free agents every year, right? You can draft somebody. Patrick Mahomes, was he drafted?
He was 13.
He was, okay.
13.
Lamar
They
Jackson,
moved up
was
to
he
get
drafted?
him. Yeah, he was. They moved up to
At
get
some
him.
point, the Lions will no longer be in, you got to build a team. We got to build depth. We got to do this. We got to blah, blah, blah. At some point, they're going to like, hey, you know what? We got multiple picks this year. Let's try to get ourselves a
They're
quarterback.
ready now, Terry.
So you want to
They're
draft
ready
that quarterback
now.
right now?
They're ready now.
Yeah, they're ready now with Jared Goff. They're ready now with Jared Goff, man. Like,
Okay.
look, $30 million this year for Jared Goff, $31 million.
I'm not complaining about him or what he did last
Yeah.
year. I'm not. I'm going to complain in 2 years.
This is true. We can
Or
revisit.
4. You never know.
I think the Detroit Lions are in a very good situation. I think Jared Goff, it's not even that it's for cheap. I mean, it is for cheap compared to what guys are getting. I mean, hell, Daniel
It's
Jones.
middle class.
Yeah, what did Daniel Jones make? Daniel Jones making $38 million a year? Or was it,
47.
he got, it was, I thought it was
I don't know what he got, but he was asking for 47.
one. He got 4 for 160. I think it's 40.
Yeah, Daniel Jones got 40 a year.
Daniel Jones got $40 million
Is
a
he
year.
worth 40 a year, brother?
No, he's not worth $40
Well,
million
he signed.
a
He
year.
got signed.
Okay, I'm
No,
just
he's
saying.
not worth 40, but that's the market now. Like, Daniel Jones is not worth $40 million a year. He had 17 touchdowns in 18 games last year, like with Brian Daboll, and he didn't turn the ball over last year. Like, and that's all he gave you. Like, he's averaging 1.5 touchdowns a game, like less than 1.5. Like, that's not good enough, but that's the market.
He did show them marked improvement with
What did he-
Dayball there.
$40 million worth of improvement.
Well, obviously they think so because they gave it to him. They like what they have. They gave Saquon.
Baby
they
boy.
gave Saquon
I
the
don't
tag.
think they
would
did
disagree.
it because they wanted to. They had to.
Yes.
There's a difference.
Correct. They had to.
I don't think they wanted to. I mean, I think they look at this and say, okay, what we're paying him is ridiculous, but what choice do you have?
Do you know last year they had a chance to do his 5th-year option?
yeah,
They decided against it.
because they didn't believe in
It
him.
was going to be $28 million. Now they're paying him like $42 million. So they rolled the dice and they crapped out because the kid got better. You want to do that? You want to do that with Jared Goff? That's the only thing I'm saying. Yes, he was great last year.
Right.
Very good, not great. He was very good last year. And he'll probably be very good this year. He is a good quarterback. I'm just saying, I would, for my money, I'd rather have Lamar Jackson than Jared Goff. That's all.
If the money's equal.
Well, that's a fair.
It will be.
That's a fair assessment. Speaking of fair assessments, JB, tell us about Fairway.
Not a problem. Are you looking to find a way to elevate your dinner tonight?
Hell yeah.
Well, choose a Fairway Packing Company. Family owned and operated since 1956. Try their Burrata Blend Burger. Let me try that again.
Yeah, try that again, brother.
Try their Burrata
There it
Blend
is.
Burgers. Yeah. Award-winning Chop House steaks, or impress your friends with a dry-aged Wagyu Tomahawk steak. See why top chefs in the country choose Fairway. Visit their steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods or order online to ship anywhere. Visit fairwaypacking.com for more details. It's Fairway Packing Company. Source, cut, aged, packed to perfection.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots, he scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry. Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard.
Corner, jumper,
Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Be sure to check out Swiss Insurance this week for your commercial insurance review. Many people have tried and all have liked Swiss Insurance Group. They get it right. Ask my man Mark over there. They will get what you need and do what you need to have done. Check with them, get it done, get it proper. Swiss Insurance Group.
Yeah, no, it's like I was saying earlier, we just have a culture in place that people can really thrive in. And, you always want to look at it from a leadership standpoint, what is really the culture? Well, it's, what are your values? Who are you really as a person from a leadership standpoint? And can you bring that to life? And when you bring that to life, can it let other people thrive and make others around you better? And so, we worked hard at that. At the same time, that comes from the top with Sheila, and this number one is the most important thing. And that's an easy thing for Dan and myself. But
and that's Brad Holmes at the Combine, talking about the culture here, culture in place, talking about the players that he wants to bring to the Detroit Lions, what they already got going on. Braylon Edwards, Terry Foster here, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz over there on the couch. Terry, we keep talking about the draft, and we keep talking about pick 6, pick 18, all these picks. Let's kind of dig into free agency just a little bit. Talking about bringing leaders in, people that fit the culture here in Detroit. Who are some players that you're looking at? Because I'm looking at Maz said. Maz wants everybody from the Eagles. I don't know if we can afford that.
And I want Bobby.
100%.
I want him. I want Bobby Wagner first and foremost. And I know they're not going to sign him. And that sucks.
Well, we don't know that.
Yeah, we know. We know they're not going to sign him.
Finally.
If he has a name, they're not going to sign him.
Right.
You need to know guys that we hardly know. Those are the guys that the Lions are going to sign. They're going to sign 2 cornerbacks. That's what they're going to sign.
And that's not always a bad idea, because I think in the NFL specifically, when you get the high-price, big-name free agents that all the fans want, there's a lot of people that just don't work out, because one, they've already accomplished what they want. They look at the Lions as a money grab.
Not anymore.
Oh yeah.
No,
the culture of the Lions has not changed completely.
Yes, it's changed.
It's still now. Is right now, Terry? Is it still a money grab to come to Detroit, or do you think you're building something here if you come here?
You're building something here, but it's still a money grab.
Okay.
Just because we're all bought into this doesn't mean the rest of the league has, or the players from the rest of the league has. They still got a lot of building to do. I don't think this is a desirable place yet, but it's getting there. And so, you got to overpay, obviously, for any free agent. But I just don't like all these high-priced guys. I think the Lions are still going to be, look for pieces, look for try-hard guys, look for guys maybe other teams don't want,
right,
and hope to build that culture that way.
I disagree, Terry. I disagree, and the reason why I disagree.
So you think some big names coming in?
I think some big names. I think some big names, but maybe not necessarily. Let me tell you the couple names that I have picked out to come here, but I do think some big names are going to come here. To his point, Maz, when he's talking about not necessarily everybody in the league agrees like that they have he's right about that. When I played for the Browns in 2007, we won 10 games. We were at 7-1 at home. A great season. We had 6 Pro Bowlers. You're talking about players that the Cleveland Browns drafted. They drafted Kellen Winslow in the first round in 2004. He was a Pro Bowler. They drafted me in the first round in 2005. I made the Pro Bowl. They drafted Joe Thomas, who's now in the Hall of Fame. Right. Drafted him in 2007. He was a Pro Bowler that year. Derek Anderson, they picked him up. But anyway, the next year, like, we're 10-6. We're thinking, hey, we've arrived. Everybody's bought in at the Cleveland Browns. We got our ass whooped that year. I think we won 5 games. So to your point, it's not necessarily a foregone conclusion that they have arrived, and maybe some other players feel that way. Now, the pushback that I would give on that in terms of in the players, bringing in the players in free agency, you don't have to bring in Javon Hargrave, who we know is probably going to be the most expensive defensive lineman on the free agency. You can bring in a guy like Draymond Jones. Draymond Jones had 55 hurries against the quarterback last year, but he was in the backfield all the time. He was great in the run game. That's what I essentially want for the Detroit Lions. I want another veteran, another explosive guy in the interior defensive line. That's Draymond Jones. I look at James Bradberry. James Bradberry will probably be the big name that the Lions go after, and they probably will get. I think they'll go get him. I'm nervous about him because he had a kind of declining before last year, and he played well last year. But he played last year, and you look at who was on the other side of him. You look at who was on the defensive line side for the Eagles. I mean, they had the best defensive line in football, not named the San Francisco 49ers.
I want C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson. The Eagles,
I just like his attitude on the field. I know he's a safety, but I know we have Tracy Walker coming off an injury. I just would love to have that kid on the team.
I love that as well. And you talk about his attitude. Attitude respects leadership. Leadership is exactly what we just heard Brad Holmes say. He's a guy that want Bobby Wagner. I think he's a guy that's
how do you not want Bobby Wagner?
He's not gonna cost. Are you scared of a Bobby Wagner because you think he's gonna cost too much, or you don't think he's gonna come here, T?
I think he's going to come here.
150 tackles a year.
I don't think Bobby Wagner is my fear, but people who we think are all that
right
come in, underachieve, and then we want them out of town. Here, let me equate it to going to the grocery store. Now you can go to the grocery store with money bags all over and say, I'm gonna get the most expensive loaf of bread, put it in my basket.
Boom.
I'm gonna get the prime rib and put it in my basket.
It's a hell of a sandwich.
Because I got all kinds of money. Or you can shop. Okay, this bread here is just as good as this one, maybe a little scrunch below. I'm gonna put it in my basket because I'm saving money.
Right.
Or I'm not getting the prime rib. I'm getting this New York strip that's good. It may be $2 a pound less. So you're shopping, you're looking. I think that's what the Lions should do.
The Lions are going to bring in London broil. That's the problem.
Hey, man.
They don't want to pay. They want to get London broil.
Well, no. In the past, they bringing the tube steak or the cube steaks.
I like London broil, but you know what? If I have a chance for prime rib, I'm going to take prime rib.
I think the Lions are in the situation where they can get prime rib, but they can get prime rib at the price that they wanted it. And the reason why I say that, there are a lot of free agents in this draft class. In this free agent class that are older now. You got guys that are 33. You got guys that are 34, guys that are 32, guys that are 30 that we're talking about. They're not going to command the type of money that we would have had to kick out for them 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 6 years ago. They're not going to. So I think you get guys like Bobby Wagner, he's 33 now. He got cut from the Los Angeles Rams. He was only making, $10 million a year for the Los Angeles Rams, and he got cut. So now you bring him. He's not going to make $10 million this year. You look at Levante David. Levante David at 35 outplayed every linebacker in the NFL last year, not named Fred Warner. This is another guy that you can bring in. You need a Mike linebacker. I'm in favor of the Lions going to give players in free agency that they can bring in at a sort of a discount, but it's still high clip. Like you're talking Bobby Wagner, like literally was second team All-Pro last year. You're talking about Levante David. I played Bobby Wagner last year he didn't even make first or second team All-Pro. Those are the guys that I'm talking, Draymond Jones, that you can bring in, because now you know what that allows you to do? Let you have a little bit more fun in the draft with pick 6 and pick 18 and what you want to do with that. So that's why I'm in favor of these kind of moves, too.
Okay. I can be down with that, but once again, all the guys that Maz wants, want $50 million a year and stuff like that. I'm just not with it.
That's not true, Terry. I know I got to shop. I know it's easy for all of us as fans to look at our sheet here.
You know
top
what?
101 free agents.
Before
I want him, and him.
Hey, baby boy, before I walked into this studio, somebody pulled me inside and said, "Be careful, because you're going to be doing the show with Maz. He's going to try to talk you into bringing in every broken down quarterback in the National Football League."
This wasn't Neil, was it? It
was not Neil. It was a younger guy.
Yesterday, someone on the chat said, "If I'm selling widgets, I want Maz to be my sales guy." Listen, I'm not a dummy. I don't have blinders on. I know it's not fantasy football we're dealing with here. I just want good quality players, and to get a guy like a Bobby Wagner on this team, a young defense, and they had drafted 6 rookies last year. They're going to draft a few more this year. Why not put a guy like Bobby Wagner in there to patrol, to teach? Levante David, they're 32, 33 years old, but they haven't dropped off. If you look, top tackler last year, Bobby Wagner, 145 tackles a year. That's his average.
Yeah.
And you look, and it's like this. It stays like this. He
Let's-
has not dropped off.
Well, let's do this for the fans out there. You know, we're talking about these players that are free agents now. Let's talk about some of these notable free agents that have come up as late. Fletch, appreciate that. These are notable free agents that have been released or expected to be released. Carson Wentz, quarterback Eric Kendricks from the Minnesota Vikings. Frank Clark, edge rusher, Kansas City Chiefs. You got Bud Dupree in there.
From Tennessee.
I'm skipping the wide receiver. No need to mention his name. You got Marcus Mariota at quarterback.
Good
linebacker, Bobby Wagner.
Oh, yeah.
Cornerback, Shaquille Griffin. Shaq. Wide receiver, Robert Woods. You got Taylor Lewan, Michigan native. And you got Donovan Smith. And for those of you wondering what wide receiver I skipped, that would be your former wide receiver, Kenny Galladay, who landed 1 touchdown in 2 years.
There would be no chance in hell that he'd be here.
Hell would have to freeze over twice.
Yes.
To bring Kenny Galladay in for anything. But here's a list of...
He's not the culture guy you want.
He was at one point.
That's why they let him go.
Yeah, he was. And
Yeah,
then,
but at
and
the
then he
end,
wasn't. Yeah.
he wanted no part of the Lions, and they wanted no part of him.
Yeah.
Right.
He started getting too big.
See
for
how it
his
worked
britches,
out.
man.
Yeah.
Who's name some guys on this list? And appreciate you, Flesh. Great job by you. Who's some guys on the list that you would potentially take a look at, man? Just looking at this.
Well, if the money was right, I would look at Frank Clark.
Okay,
First of all, and Bobby Wagner. I'm not going off of him.
Yeah.
Guys like Robert Woods, stuff like that. I don't think Robert Woods would be the answer here in Detroit.
Now, I would take a look at Carson Wentz.
Oh God.
If I were the general manager of the Montreal Alouettes.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
You guys are horrible.
I don't know. The Toronto Argonauts might want him.
Carson Wentz wasn't that bad, man.
Yes, he was.
For the Colts and the Commanders, man. Like at times he played decent.
He's never won. Well, he did get the Eagles going.
If you look at his stats with the Colts, his stats were good. I think everybody is jaded by the last game of the year against the the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, his stats were good. 70 completion. He was over, 3,900. He was only to 9 interceptions. But anyway, I agree with you. I like Frank Clark. And the big thing for me is if you can use those picks, like, to move back to gain more draft capital in this potentially upcoming draft, the way you do that, why do I look so short right now? I guess my seat is shrinking.
You did. You shrunk.
I know I did shrink. I'll lift it up at the next commercial break. But the way that you get those picks is that draft capital, man. You move back. You move from 6 to 9. You let somebody else move up. Things like that. But if you're gonna do that, you got to get people in free agency. Looking at a player like Frank Clark. Frank Clark. 2 Super Bowls experience, went to the University of Michigan. He's lightning in a bottle, and now you bring in somebody that has that cachet, that experience.
But is he Lion-esque?
To work with Aiden Hutchinson. You said what?
Is he Lion material? I don't think he's Lion material.
What does that mean? Because now
you just heard Brad Holmes.
Yeah, I want to hear it. What
so
is
now
Lion
we're adding
material?
another element to bringing players in. Are they Lion material?
Yes, because Terry, you know this.
At the end of
the Lions don't bring in anybody that's had a pass or anybody that makes a ruckus. They don't.
Okay.
Right.
They never have.
This was when the Lions were not a real organization.
You just heard Brad Holmes.
What
Culture?
shirt did Brad Holmes have on?
What shirt?
Grit.
Yes.
He had something with the Lions and not grit. Was it grit?
Villain. He said that is the mindset of the scouting department. That's the mindset of the people bringing players. So I have to believe, if that's the case, that the Lions going to bring in some guys now that are like, they got a little shaky pass.
I'm good with that.
It doesn't matter what sport you're in. It doesn't matter what sport there is. It doesn't matter what sport you're in, what professional sport. You got to have a couple of those kind of guys. You got to have a couple of those guys on the team where you like, hey, don't mess with him. Like, if they say certain stuff, like, you just act like you didn't hear it. Like, I'm telling you, we had a guy on my team, I played with 49ers, named Ice. Ice was Samoan, and, like, Ice was like his own island inside the facility. Like, Ice was, he could say what he wanted to do, he could do what he wanted to do. Because when Ice got on that field, Ice was going to scare the living hell out of the offensive lineman for the other team. He was going to scare the quarterback and everybody involved. Got to have you a couple players like that. And if you're talking about having a guy that's 2-time Super Bowl champ, played in Michigan, and is a monster, everywhere he's been, he's played at a high level. That's why the Chiefs went and plucked him from Seattle, because he played at such a high level. We'll put a pin in that right now. Let me tell you a little bit about SMA. The sports marketing agency is here to spread awareness about mental health as well as substance use disorder. Their podcast, this is the S word, and the S word stands for stigma, because we are trying to destigmatize mental health. Sean Jordan does an amazing job of providing you the content, the conversations, and the information. All you got to do Just look it up. thesportsma.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Hey, it's Maz for Cousins Made Lobster, cousinsmadelobster.com. They got a contest going on, and you guys can make yourselves some cash if you help out Cousins Made Lobster. Their food truck is up for Food Truck of the Year. If you go to the Freep and vote for them at freep.com, the best of Detroit. Follow them on Facebook.com/CML Detroit. That's Cousins Made Lobster Detroit. Put a vote in for them for Food Truck of the Year. If they win, you have a chance to win a $300 Visa gift card. All you got to do is click that QR code right next to my big mug, and it'll take you right to the contest. It's easy. Vote as many times as you'd like. These guys are awesome. I promise you, you will love it. If you've never had Cousins Made Lobster, if you ever had seafood like this, it's like being in New England, but you're right here in Detroit, USA. cousinsmadelobster.com. Give them a vote.
Last year was exciting too. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you win 3 or 13 games. I mean, you got a chance to continue to improve your team, and that's always an exciting thing. And to be able to find these guys or identify these guys that fit what you're about, that's fun, man. This is a fun time of year, no matter where you're at, from free agency to the draft. And because it's not just about acquiring the most talented players. They got to fit your locker room, too. They got to fit your locker room. They got to fit a certain need. Coaches, they got to mess with the coaches. And so that's pretty fun, man.
With the coaches, got to mess with the players.
I'm glad Dan Campbell can have fun at winning 3 games or 13. He's like, it's fun this time. No, it's not. It's nerve-wracking, especially if you're coming off 3 games. Luckily, that's not the case this year, Terry. We're coming off 9 wins. But this ain't a fun time if you're trying to figure out how did the Detroit Lions get to the Super Bowl. He needs to back off a little bit.
I think he's talking about assembling a new team because every team is different.
Yeah.
I think it's fun for him to get with Brad Holmes so they can slap each other on the back and decide who's bringing in, talk about grit and villain and snot and all that kind of stuff. The pressure is a little bit off of a coach right now because he's not coaching them every week.
Yeah.
He's the secondary guy as far as bringing in a quality team. I think now it's a time where the fellas get together.
Yeah.
Maybe we're drinking some bourbon or something. We're trying to decide, okay, who we're going to bring in. So I think that's what he means by fun.
Okay.
Yeah, there's pressure, but
I can go for that. And also, you don't have a bunch of beat writers trying to tear you apart for your horrible game management, time management, et cetera.
Right. You
don't have that going on right now.
You can hold the beat writers off for once a week.
Yeah.
But you heard him now. This is what I meant, guys. What I meant by having the right players come here to Detroit. The right players that they think are fitting this Lions regime. You heard him, Terry.
Okay, man.
They got to be able to mesh. And does a guy like Frank Clark mesh with this type of young staff, young kids?
Here you go. But let me ask you this. Like, the Detroit Lions have always been the staple. Like, they don't want to bring in people that, have had a checkered past or had anything go wrong. They don't want to bring in a player like that. This could be 30, 40, 50 years. It just seems that way. But as you're now in a different space. See, this isn't the Detroit Lions that are not competing or people aren't talking about it, people aren't taking serious. People are starting to try to take the Detroit Lions serious. With that being said, you're building something. don't you just have to get players that can win for you? Don't you have to sometimes say, hey, look, you know what? This player isn't exactly the type of player I would take a chance on, but this player can help me change my franchise. Maybe I need to change my thinking a little bit, and maybe I can help him change his thinking a little bit in the process. I'm trying to win the Super Bowl.
I think that
not a
thinking
playoff game
has changed. Darius Slay, do you think Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell will look at Darius Slay and say, he's chirping too much, let's get rid of his ass?
Of course not.
No.
That was the last regime. So there's a change right there. All Darius Slay wanted to do here is the same thing he did in Philadelphia.
Yep.
He wanted to win. He wanted to go to the Super Bowl. But he knew they couldn't do it the way they were doing it. So he was telling guys, hey, guys, we need to do this. He would tell coaches, we're doing it the wrong way. And guess what? They were doing it the wrong way.
Yeah.
So now I'd like to believe if Darius Slay or a guy like him are on this team and he's like, hey, look, guys, we need to do this, that they're not going to say, get your ass out of here.
But how much of that is drafting guys? Because you see a guy like Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph is a little chirper. Like, well, I didn't mean little, but he chirps a lot. Like, he's a guy that's starting to chirp, and they're allowing to chirp, and I get that. But Kirby Joseph is a drafted player. Like, I'm talking about bringing in free agents. Like, have they lowered that guard down enough in terms of bringing in free agents that might have a thing going on, such as a Frank Clark, who there was an instance, I think, when he was in college, that was, 12 years ago? So now, are they in that space?
I believe they're in that space. I believe, at least with this coaching staff that I saw last year and with Campbell, that the conversation at first may not be comfortable. It might be a little bit, what are you talking about? But I think the bottom line is the coaches and Campbell will listen to said player or players, try to reach some type of compromise. He's not going to give him everything he wants. But they would say, oh, you know what, maybe we could do this better, instead of saying the ship is ass out.
Man, you talked about Tracy Walker. You're talking about a guy that Detroit Lions paid before last season. I think they paid him 3 years, $27 million.
Coming off Achilles.
Yeah, 3 years, $27 million going into last season, and then he tears his Achilles, I think game 4 or 5. How are you with our safety play of the Detroit Lions? You have Kirby Joseph.
Well, you know who I want. I want C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah.
So I think the secondary is rounding into form. It's going to need some help. Obviously, Jeff Okudah is going to have to improve. You've heard Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell say it out loud. Jeff's got to improve. So I think they're a work in progress. They've got some good pieces.
Right.
Chase Lucas hasn't played yet. Jerry Jacobs coming into his own. You talked about Kirby Joseph.
Yeah.
They got some pieces in play. Now they just got to take the next step, and I think, obviously they're going to draft somebody. I really believe they'll sign a couple of free agents in the secondary. I think you're going to see the first signings that the Lions do will be 2 cornerbacks or 2 guys in the secondary.
Here's a safety guy that comes to mind. Obviously, C.J. Gardner-Johnson is a guy that you like a lot. I like as well. I think that's going to be a player that they keep. I think that's a player that the Eagles keep. I don't think.
The rumors are he's gone. He's already said, I love Philly. It's been nice playing for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here's another guy that comes to mind. Jordan Poyer. Jordan Poyer had his best year that he's had in the NFL last season. He was a dominant guy for Sean McDermott's defense. Jordan Poyer actually doesn't like something, man. Fill me in on that.
Yeah, it's a good call, man. You know what he doesn't like, Terry? I brought this up to you earlier today. Jordan Poyer doesn't like paying that New York tax.
That's right.
He don't like that New York tax. I gave you guys a map of the way teams tax, the way cities and states tax their players. That's why you see players going to Texas, going to Houston,
Florida,
going to Dallas, going to Florida.
Hell yeah.
I mean, there's
state tax.
There's a rumor James Harden will go back to the Rockets next year. The Rockets are the worst team in the league next to the Pistons.
But you know what?
You don't got to pay down there.
The Houston fans love him, and
you don't got to pay.
I would be, if I was Jordan Poyer, I would be irate too if I'm paying the same taxes in freaking Buffalo, which people call the armpit of America, as guys that are living in Manhattan. It's the same taxes.
Yeah.
Like New York, same state taxes. So that's why he's mad. Is he a guy that we can bring in? I like Jordan Poyer. Michael Hyde wasn't in there a lot, so he had to really lead. Tre'Davious White wasn't in there, so he really led that secondary. He was the best player on defense for them. He was the best player on defense for them last year. So You bring in a guy like that, I think that leadership. I'm listening to Dan Campbell talk about leadership. Leadership is what I keep hearing. Guys don't bring up coaches and GMs. They don't bring up leadership when they have a team full of young guys for no reason. They're bringing it up because now they got to get some guys in free agents that can be leaders. Jordan Poyer, guys like that. I think they could be leaders for this young team.
It means they got some guys they think can be leaders. And they're not afraid of those guys actually becoming leaders. I mean, coaches always talk about leadership, but don't go too far. Don't step outside your
comfort zone.
Yeah, comfort zone and start talking some mess that they don't want to hear. Then it's like, okay, well, I know I'm talking about leaders, but could you just shut up for a little bit? You're making too much noise.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, man.
But if you had to do it all again, and you had a chance to be a free agent, Braylon.
Oh.
If you had a chance to be a free agent, what city or state would you lean to? Would you go play down south in Texas? Would you go way down south and play in in Florida?
Two funny stories. I'll make them quick, and then we'll head to commercial and come back. Check this out. One, you know who I was supposed to go play with?
Miami
Dolphins.
Yeah.
They're located in where? They're located in the state of Florida. I went and bought a condo. I bought a bunch of pink linen shirts and white linen pants. I was excited. I was no state tax. This is going to be great. And I ended up in Cleveland. So I would definitely have played in Florida. I definitely would have played it with the Miami Dolphins. Even Tampa at the time. Figure it out. But Texas, I was 2011. I'm at St. Thomas, and I'm staying at the Ritz-Carlton. And we're on, me and my manager and my sister, and we're hanging by the pool side, or we're hanging by the beach bar. And there's this massive yacht in the water. Outside the yacht comes another boat that comes from underneath the yacht, and they drive up on the shore. It was Jerry Jones.
Oh,
it was
God.
Jerry Jones, his son, and his son's best friend. I always forget his son's best friend's name. And they came up there, and I talked to him. It was like, Braylon, yeah. And we started chit-chatting. I would have loved to play for the Cowboys. Like, you can say what you want to about the Cowboys. Cowboys are the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Like, the Cowboys are the Cowboys. As a player, the Cowboys
It's an honor.
Hell yeah, it's an honor. Like, to put that star on your helmet, like the star or the 49ers, although that's not no state tax. They're actually too expensive.
Oh, my God.
You talking about rake me over the coals when I play for the 49ers.
Now, Shad Khan in Jacksonville is selling his $200 million yacht. He put it up for sale today. $200 million.
Who's buying
this
that?
yacht costs? But I just want to say, would you go play for a loser to save money?
Depends on where I'm at in my career. Depends on where I'm at in my career. And that's kind of what T. Foss was talking about earlier. Like, where am I in my career? Like, am I year 10? Am I year 8? Have I won a Super Bowl? Have I made a couple Pro Bowls? Like, have I gotten to a third bite at the apple or a second bite at the apple? Like, once some of these things happen and you scratch these things off, now you start worrying about the finance side thing. Now you start worrying about your wife, your kids, your mother, you know what I'm saying, your sisters, your brothers, and things like that for the long run. So I definitely can see that possible for sure, especially depending on where I was at my career.
I mean, look what Ndamukong Suh, what happened. I know the Lions couldn't pay the big three. The NFL came down, they changed all the rules. So to pay Calvin, Matthew, and Ndamukong was impossible. The Lions made their choice. They paid their wide receiver and their quarterback. They left Suh crying on the podium when they lost in Dallas in 2014. Where did he go? He took his business down to Florida.
You know what? And let's get into that, because I think that situation jaded Ndamukong a lot, and I think he was one of the first individuals to learn from it. So let's talk about the Folding Warehouse and then get back into Ndamukong after commercials.
You got it. Folding Warehouse. You know I love it. It's football and bowling at its best. Throw a football and a bunch of bowling pins and have a great time. Get your fold on. If you've never done it, get down to Hamtramck. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. 2 ways to play it. $12. Unlimited open play or a private lane reservation for 10 or 12 of your friends. You get a lane for 2 hours. Run you $120. That's less than $10 per person. Any drink you want, Terry can get his bourbon. You can get a Bloody Mary. You can get whatever, because they got multiple full bars and over 100 beers on that beer menu. Plus the $2 mystery beer machine. $2 for a beer. Can't beat that for a deal. And food-wise, bring your own food in or have it delivered. Get your fold on today at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
You're about to be shell-shocked. The catch of the day is in. Big Boy Seafood Fest is officially back. Join us for some of your favorites like our popcorn shrimp and pike perch platters and our classic fish and chips. This year, we've reeled in some fresh catches like our shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir-fry, and our fish sandwich. And especially, don't forget about our all-you-can-eat Friday night fish fry buffet. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Now is the best time to join Planet Fitness. The gym that has always been known for being clean is now cleaner than ever. With tons of equipment, a full body workout in the 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. The best part about all this, you get it all just for $10 a month.
Oh, only $10?
Yes, only $10. Planet Fitness has more than 50 convenient locations in the Metro Detroit area, so no matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness nearby. Join in club today or check them out online at planetfitness.com.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Special guest Terry Foster sitting in for Ryan. Ermanni, Ryan, we miss you. We love you. We will see you next week. We were talking about Ndamukong Suh right before we went to the break.
Right.
And I was saying, I think the way Ndamukong got jaded by the Detroit Lions, I think he was one of the first ones, he's firsthand how business kind of works in this new NFL. It's like, you know what? We can only pay 2.
Yep.
You're not going to be 2. You're going to be the third
Wasn't
man.
that Lions luck? That was Lions luck.
And so he legitimately was out on the Lions his whole last year and a half because he knew. He was out on the Lions last year and a half. Then he goes to Miami. He gets paid. But then after that, he starts picking like, okay, who's going to win the Super Bowl? He tried to go to the Rams. Thought that was going to pan out. They lost to the Patriots. Then he's like, who's next? Okay, here he is. Tom Brady's over here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
Wins the Super Bowl there. Okay, now
Philly.
Who's next? Oh, Philly. So Ndamukong Suh was kind of one of the first people to say, I understand it's a business. I see how it is, as opposed to get offended by it or as opposed to get, in my feelings about it. I will play the game accordingly. And I think that's what he did. He's one of the first people to do it.
No, he did that, but you say he was kind of put off by the Lions, but
the business of
on the business side, but he played the business side first. He was trying to get out of here as quickly as possible. And
this is before.
This is when he was drafted.
And that sucks because look how good they became in 2015.
He almost won Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, I was a member of the Sioux squad for like a year before I got kicked out.
Gum?
Yeah.
That's my girl. Gum's my girl.
But
how do you get in the Sioux squad?
I must have said good stuff about him.
All right.
But then, when he stomped on
Evan Dietrich
Smith, man, I was just, okay, this dude is crazy. What's up with this?
I liked it.
I mean,
it wasn't bad, but he had to lie about it. I was just trying to disassociate myself from the situation. They knew that was a lie. The Lions knew that wasn't the truth. In fact, after it happened, the Lions came up with a statement for Ndamukong Suh to read. I messed up. I apologize. This is not me. The heat of the moment, blah, 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 blah. He took that, looked at it, and threw it away and said, I was just trying to disassociate myself from the situation. And everybody knew that was a lie. You could be Harold on the couch, who'd never seen football before, and you knew he stomped Smith on purpose.
Didn't he and Matt Stafford get into it?
Huh?
Didn't he and Matt Stafford get into it last year in the playoffs?
Yeah.
They got into
a little scuffle there.
Little quick one.
Right.
Oh, that's right, because Matt's wife, Kelly, she said something on the podcast about it.
Yeah, I mean, when you are a pro athlete, you got to mute your family sometimes.
Oh, man.
You got to say, baby, don't go on the telecast. Don't do a podcast.
T. Morant.
Right. You got to, because they are the ones that get you in trouble. And Patrick Mahomes' brother,
Jackson?
Yeah, Jackson. The reason Patrick Mahomes is disliked by some people is not because of anything he did, it's because of his brother.
Right. And his wife.
Yeah, and his wife, right. So you gotta tell your family, chill out. We getting paid. It's all good.
You know what? This is actually a great pivot. That's why I'm glad you're up here. Great pivot, Maz. We're gonna switch this up. We're talking about family. You're talking about family needing to step up, family needing to say something. Well, there's an instance with a kid right now in the NBA that needs all the help he can get, and it's crazy because his father, T. Morant,
it all started with him.
Is around. Maz, take us through what's going on with John Morant.
Well, hell, man, the timeline is wild. What's his name? T. Morant?
T. Morant, his father.
He starts yelling across the court at who? Shannon Sharp.
Yeah,
that
right.
gets in the media. Before you know it, that all blows up. So he says he apologized. He'll back off a little. So Ja and his friends go out one night after they play the Pacers. They're playing the Indiana Pacers. And I'm not sure exactly what happened in that game. I do know there was some words. And Ja didn't like it. So Ja's crew didn't like it. So Ja, instead of being with the team, gets in with his buddies, gets in an SUV, and drives up on the Indiana Pacers team bus, from what I remember. And they're knocking on the window and brandishing a gun. So that got some pub. Nothing happened at that time, but it got some pub. That leads to Ja Morant apologizing for that. And then later, maybe a week, 2 weeks later, they have a team meeting, team-only meeting. And, Bray, you've been through these team-only meetings.
Yeah, they suck.
A guy named Steve Adams, the big man on Memphis. He led the meeting, and he's telling the team with Ja Morant in his eyeballs here, listen, we can't do stupid things. We got to watch ourselves. We got to, when we leave here, we represent the team. We represent the NBA. We got to be right down the line. Don't get pulled in all these directions. So the team, 1, 2, 3, break. Great. What's he do that night?
Goes out
with a gun at a club. They find out about that. And not only that, the rumor was he brings a gun to the team plane. Mark Stein comes out and says the NBA has a 50-game suspension for any player that has a weapon on any NBA property,
It's
meaning
the
in the
Gilbert
locker
Arenas.
room. Yep, the old Gilbert Arenas.
Yep.
What was his name? Agent what?
Agent Zero.
Agent Zero.
Oh, man.
He had the gun in his locker.
His 6-year run.
So Ja Morant has this gun supposedly by the team plane. That's a no-no. The next day he apologizes again and says, I got to step away from the NBA for a while. He goes on a little bit of a sabbatical. A lot of players are coming out trying to help the kid. Shaq goes on a 5-minute soliloquy the other day on TNT saying, listen, you're a basketball player. You're not a rapper. You're not a thug. You're a player. And I've brought this up to you before, Bray.
Yeah.
You could take it from here, basically. This kid is following the wrong people.
Yes,
One of the best players in the NBA.
Definitely one of the most exciting players in the NBA. The quick timeline on it is the incident with T. Morant, his father, Shannon at Crypto. That happened first. Then the next incident that happens is it comes out that the incident that happened with the Indiana Pacers. He gets in with his friends. His friends point a laser beam to the bus of the Indiana Pacers. That's incident 2. Incident 3 is it was reported by a 17-year-old that Ja Morant last year beat him up, hit him 13 to 14 times, and had a gun. Then incident 4 was him waving the gun on I want to say Instagram Live, took a picture of that. That's what sparked the team meeting only by Steven Adams. They had the team meeting and they do this, and then they go down the rabbit hole of this can't happen, this is what we can't do. And then what happens after that is right after that meeting, he goes out to a club that night, and then there is a shooting that night. The long and short of it, T. Foss, and I'm throwing it to you, is everybody said it. Everybody's had a piece on it. Everybody's given a long rant, talked about what it is. You're not a rapper, and these rappers aren't even that anymore. Back in the day, we talked about this. They were rapping about what they really saw. They were really about the stuff that they're talking about. Nowadays, when these rappers go to prep school, much like Ja Morant, everybody wants to have a broken home now. Everybody wants to have that street cred. Everybody wants to claim that they're from the hood. Ja Morant got 2 parents. Like, Ja Morant's father was there the whole time, so was his mother. Like, he went to a prep school, a nice prep school. All of a sudden, guys think it's cool to come from the street. Guys think it's cool to weigh the heat, be in your bag, and be in all that other stuff. That ain't who you are.
No, it's not. And the pressure for athletes is they don't want to perceive like they changed.
Right.
I'm from the hood. I'm still down with my boys and everything, but
it's like they have to have come from the hood to have success. You don't.
No, you don't. But you lose that street cred. Your boys look down upon you, and there's that pressure. But you know what? Leave that ghetto stuff home.
Yes.
You don't need it. You are in a different position. And when you're making $10, $12, $15 million a year, and you have to represent a team, you have to represent a community, you have to represent a lot of people, stuff changes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're corporate. The one thing that Chuck Daly always used to say about his players, I am managing 12 different corporations.
That's 100% right.
And that's important. But, I'm still down with the cause. I don't want to be perceived as a sellout.
Ja, there's 230 million reasons why you don't have to be down with the cause. Like, there's not. I remember there is an element to that. Look, I went to King High School. It's in Detroit. It's downtown. It's on the east side. I grew up down the street on 8 Mile in Livernois, right down the street. I grew up in Detroit, 313. Like, Detroit is where I grew up. I had 4 parents. I had great situation growing up. Had everything I wanted. So no, I didn't grow up hood. I didn't grow up in the trap house. I didn't grow up with that. But I knew the element. I knew where it was. So at times, in the league, like I want to get into a fight because I feel like I got to prove myself in downtown Detroit. I got to do. Jerome Bettis once again asked me one time. He saw me get into a fight. It was downtown Detroit, and Jerome was like, "What are you trying to prove? Like this is your big brother. This is somebody that's about to walk the stage in Canton." And he pulled me to the side. What are you trying to prove? I know your mama. I know your daddy. What are you trying to prove? He was dead right.
No, he's right.
He was dead ass right.
I was never a pro athlete, but I wanted my career in journalism to keep continuing. I'm hanging out with my boys. They want to go jack somebody up.
Ain't no time for that.
And I said, I'm not coming. Y'all can do what you want to do. I'm out. Of course, they call me all kinds of names and everything.
Yeah. Sure.
But you know what? You just have to be a man and say, yep. That's me.
And this is tough because John's still young. John's 23 years old. I want to say. I think he's 23 years old, 24. 23.
Here's a guy that loves the fans too. Remember
remember
what he did for that kid
and apologized. Oh yeah, man. He's an amazing individual.
It bugs the hell out of me.
What happens is what you see all the time on Instagram. It's that social pressure. You feel that social pressure to be a type of way. I got to be this, and I got to be this at the same time. Listen, man, 230 million, you can be whatever the hell you want to be. You ain't see LeBron do that stuff. LeBron and LeBron should be the model.
That's a fact.
He should be the model for everybody. Because if there should be an asshole, it should be LeBron. Yeah. Grew up without his father. He grew up in Akron. His mom was all over the place, but she made sure she was there for him to get him through. He's the one that could be doing all of this, but he's not. He's opening school. Like even when he was young, LeBron was doing the right thing. He should be the model. He should be the model for these kids, man.
Facts.
But Ja Morant, look, man, I appreciate you coming out and saying you need help, but pay attention. Get these guys out your life. It ain't that you need help. You need to distance yourself from the people you're hanging out with. That's the only help you need. Distance them and stop worrying about people thinking about you. $230 million. You can kiss all of my butt for $230 million. I'm going to be doing the right stuff. Let's hear it for Les Stanford, please, JB.
Hey, $230 million can buy you a lot of cars.
A lot of cars.
Les Stanford. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, everybody, a trusted name for over 50 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC. Same great service that customers have come to know and love. Go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. And, of course, don't forget about Les Stanford in Dearborn as well. If you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, no matter what brand it is, you'll find it at Les Stanford. It's LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry. Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, give Alta Rental a call today. 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO, the number 2, Alta.
Welcome back to the second hour of Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, featuring my co-host today, the great Terry Foster.
Be here.
How you doing over there, T-Foss?
I ain't gonna yet.
When did you start getting into the hat game, man? Like, because your hat game is flawless, right?
What was the name? It's Chris
Henry
Rock.
the Hatter?
Huh? It's
Henry the Hatter?
There you
but
go.
There was this show, Fargo. But it was Fargo has so many dimensions to it, but this is the one
the movie did
in Kansas City. It was the Italian mafia against the black mafia.
Okay.
And everybody had the coolest hats. And I'm like, and then I would watch old baseball games at Tiger Stadium. Everybody had a hat on.
They did.
And a shirt and tie. So I said, I'm gonna start doing it.
I like it.
Yeah, so
you gotta have to get my fedora game up.
Get Hatter, he'll hook you up.
I'm gonna check it out then. I'm gonna check it out.
Hey, did you guys? I know the Pistons lost again last night.
Shocking.
On a heartbreaker.
Shocking.
Did you see the last play of the game?
No, I didn't.
Well, the Wiz tip in the last shot, and as the shot is going in, and the Pistons lose by 2 again, 119 to 117. You see James Wiseman just put his head down, and then he sits down on the court and drops his head. He's trying. I just want to say, I'm digging the James Wiseman trade that they made. A lot of people are like, you're getting another big. What are you going to do? Play 3 7-footers? Blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying, I think Troy Weaver made a great trade when they got this kid. I like the way he plays. I like his heart. And when they get some real players, meat on that team, I think that trade will show that it really did it good. What do you think of James Wiseman, boys?
I agree with you. I was in favor of the trade, and this is when everybody's like dogging it.
Yeah.
And here's my point. He didn't get to show what he could do.
Right. He wants to win this
Golden
kid.
State. Yeah, he wants to win. He's got that attitude.
Yeah.
Like, man, I'm sick of this. But the thing is, when you look at him play, and it was limited, he's got handle. He can shoot.
Yep.
He'll take it to the cup, and he'll take it to a strong.
And he plays D.
But what the Pistons want, that's not what they're looking for in him. They want him to play some D. They want him to not allow the Pistons to be manhandled by Joel Embiid. They know they're going to get. They're going to get thumped by him, but don't destroy them every night. And I think that's what James Wiseman is going to provide for the Pistons.
I like this trade from the jump because similar reasons. The big thing about it was everybody talked highly about him out there in Golden State. Said he just was injured, said he was young, and as he was trying to find his way on the court, he was injured. When you're injured and you are playing for the Golden State Warriors, a machine, it's going to be hard to get on the floor, especially when they're winning championships. Yeah. So you got a guy that has been around winning. Like James Wiseman for the last 5 years last 4 years has been around winning at the highest level. He's seen Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time. He's seen what Klay Thompson did in terms of coming back from injury. He himself had to come back from injury. You see them win last year. You see the dynamic between Jordan Poole and Draymond Green. He was there for that. So he got to see that. Those are the people that you want to bring in. Him sitting on the court, you know why he was sitting on the court pissed? It's because he's seeing what winning looks like. He comes from winning. It's like the kid that gets drafted to that plays Ohio State or Alabama for 4 years, and then they play for the Detroit Lions 3 years ago.
Right. Look at Jeff Backus.
100%. You're like,
hardly lost a game in college.
This?
Didn't win a game in pros.
Like, what is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Right, and he also feels he made a mistake on the play.
Yeah.
That he didn't
Correct.
box out.
It was
he
a putback.
tried to double team, and it was
which is accountability.
Right.
Like he's showing you accountability, which is another trait that you want to have your players possess. You want your players to be accountable. You want your players to look at what Wiseman is doing and say, you know what? Damn, I should be that mad. I should be that angry. We should be that angry. That's how you create. That's how you start to build a culture. Man, that's how you build a culture.
Terry, I want to ask you something. They're the worst team in the league. They're tied for the worst team in the league. They're going to get a top 3 pick, knock wood. Hopefully they'll get the first pick. How far away is this team from really starting to compete? Now they're going to shut down Bogey for the rest of the year. There's a rumor that he's going to sit out for the rest of the year. It doesn't matter. But they're in full tank mode right now. But they try. They play hard, but they lose.
All right, Honey Bun, let me ask this question. Do they get the first pick or the third pick?
Yeah, that's the kicker.
1 and 2 I'm okay with. Because 1 and 2 you're going to get a player. You're either going to get Wembanyama.
1, 2, and 3 is good.
I don't know about 3. Like
1 is best, obviously.
Yeah, Wembanyama, and then the other one at 2 I'm good with. 3, I'm like, here we go again. 1 pick outside where we want to be.
Here's what scares me about the Pistons. The year before Cade Cunningham came here, they won 23 games.
Yep.
Then we had this big celebration, getting Cade Cunningham.
It was huge.
Best
huge celebration.
Player in the draft. Generational player. Not generational player, but a guy who's all about winning. The thing that scared me, the next year they only won 4 games more. If he was in the class of an Isaiah Thomas, he was in the class of LeBron James.
But you're talking about best ever, though.
Well,
these are best players ever.
But maybe even like a DeRozan.
Okay.
They would have won more than 4 games more the following season. That scared me because I thought the Pistons by now would be like a borderline playoff team and one where you could look and say,
Cade didn't play this
something.
year.
Huh?
Cade's out.
He's out. But my point is, even if he was in, they weren't making the playoffs this year. They'd be a lot better.
Yeah.
But I don't think they are a playoff team because they don't play a lick of defense. And I know the NBA is different. They don't play defense in the NBA. But the Pistons, man.
But the good teams find a way. They figure out when to play defense, though, to your point.
Right, well, the Pistons are not a good team. I remember playing the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum is on the perimeter looking, he's about, he's about to receive a pass.
Yeah.
He gets the pass outside the paint. He dribbles. 3 Pistons in the paint. They looked at him like, damn, this brother can play. But they didn't go over there to try to stop him or anything. They did like this, like, oh boy, can't stop that. Yeah, you could have.
I'm glad you say that. And the other player I was talking about is Scoot Henderson. Scoot Henderson is the number 2 player in this class.
Yeah, if you want to draft the 17th guard on the team.
Well, wait a minute, man. They got too many guards and too many big men.
I know. Too many bigs, too many smalls.
Doing here?
They got too many.
I know.
Too many. But you bring up a good point. If you notice, like a lot of the big players in this league, they tend to have huge games against the Pistons. And I don't say it because the Pistons are bad. Like, yeah, they don't play the defense. But part of that is being in awe because part of them, they're all young. All these guys are young. They're looking at players. And I heard there's a podcast called Knuckleheads, and one of the first questions they ask you when you come on the show is who's the first person to bust your ass. So they had Kobe on there, rest in peace, before he passed away, and they've had Jason Kidd, Grant Hill, T-Mac. And the question is, who's the first player when you got in the NBA to like give you that work, give you the business? And that's why when I watch Pistons games, I just see them in awe of KD. Giannis, they scored 170 points on the Pistons. Like, I see them as a young team in awe of these other ones, and that's why I said they got to have a disconnect of Dwayne Casey, man. There's a disconnect there with these Detroit Pistons, man. I think that's part of it. But to your point about...
You might be too calm.
100%. You need one of these.
They need Doug Collins, right?
But
Doug Collins.
Here's the other thing.
You need one of them.
You asked if a Piston player was on that podcast, and he asked the question, "Who's the first person to bust your ass?"
It was in practice.
No, they would say everybody.
This is true. But the Cade Cunningham thing has always been interesting to me, is because when we started the show, legitimately, we started the show in August of 2021. This is Cade's first year. I'm like, why do Pistons get the first pick? And it's the dude that I like. Cade's okay. Like, I did some research. I looked at him at Oklahoma State, and he was good, but
he had a good tournament.
Yeah, but I'm
really
like,
good
first
tournament.
Overall pick. To your point,
well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. That was their year. Who else did you want them to take? Green?
No, 100%. Like, they got the right person, but it just sucks because like he just doesn't seem like a franchise changer.
Superstar.
Yeah, like he's there. Like, he's not that athletic. Like, one overall. Like, I expect you to dunk from the free throw line, shoot from half court. Like, obviously I'm exaggerating, but this is true.
What did we say last year when the Lions were picking second, or they had a chance to pick first? What's the difference? Because who really is the number 1 or number 2 pick? Remember we were saying that?
Yeah,
there was no standout. Out of all the years they're picking high, there's really no guy out there that really could turn your team around. And Aiden Hutchinson turned out to be terrific. But you know, I don't know if he's the guy that they could have had on that on an upcoming
for
year.
what they need, he was the guy because they had to transition from Matt Patricia, who believed, I don't know why he believed this, but he believed you didn't need to put pressure on the quarterback.
Look what his defense gave up in the Super Bowl. He gave up, 500 and something yards to the Philadelphia Eagles, gave up 400 and something yards to the Seahawks. They stole that game. I don't know what the hell, who he hoodwinked to get all these great job offers. And now there's maybe an offer that he's going to go to Philadelphia and be the linebackers coach.
I tell you what, before he goes to Philadelphia, before he goes to do anything, he needs to get a cut. And he might need to go see who, JB?
And Lady James, that's who he needs to go see.
Take the pencil out first.
Of course, do that first. But come to Lady James for an award-winning experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home, up to $200,000. Lady James, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked
awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Goff, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Back to Ermanni and Edwards, second hour once again, almost in the books. Shout out to my man T. Fox, man. It's always a pleasure to do this with you.
Hey, before we get off basketball, did you guys see Pau Gasol's jersey retired last night?
I saw a little bit of it, yes.
Very emotional. We talked about Kobe and Gigi. Very emotional.
And it looked like all the Lakers fans got Pau jerseys. So I was like, man, that's a pretty good giveaway. Then you reminded me of something.
Got a lot of money out there.
No, what they're paying for tickets.
Exactly. It's like $700 for nosebleeds, man. Like,
yeah, but you know those are those cheap ass
I
jerseys.
know,
They're
but
not
still,
real.
It's still good.
Like them swing mans that came out.
And then the Clippers are moving out of the Staples Center.
They tired of being a redhead stepchild.
Yeah, the Clippers are getting out. They're going to Inglewood. They have a $2 billion arena that's opening. Steve Ballmer, Microsoft's own, is opening up a new arena. They put the roof on it yesterday. And he was screaming. You know how he does all this screaming? He's a wild man.
He is.
He was screaming that it's got 1,500 bathrooms. Triple any arena in the league. 1,500. He was like, we don't want our freaks. We don't want our fans waiting in the line. We want them in the arena.
But you know what? Good for him. Because I usually get to watch games from the media room or at home, and I'm spoiled. I don't like going to the stadium and then sitting there for like 15 minutes waiting to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Get me in, get me out. Bam.
Well, he's doing it for you.
Good.
Lots of bathrooms.
I'm in agreement with you. Like being in like that sweet life or being like in that VIP life, like the bathroom situation when you have to use regular ones, very annoying. But newsflash, it's the Clippers. There ain't gonna be that many people at the games anyway. I had to.
Well, no, they're not the Clippers of old.
Yes, they are.
The new Clippers.
No. These aren't the Clippers from the sports arena.
No. But these are the Clippers from when they first started getting good that gas you up and then drop you off every year. Whether it's Chris Paul, whether it's Blake Griffin, whether it's whoever. This is those Clippers.
I know.
Russell Westbrook's Clippers now.
At least they got real players.
That lets you. Russell Westbrook.
Is
your starting point guard.
You should have seen him sitting there when Ballmer was there. He was just sitting there like this.
Do you know how much $2 billion is for a just basketball arena? Obviously, they're gonna do concerts and stuff, but that's gonna be a nice arena because $2 billion to get you a nice NFL stadium.
I think it's by where the Forum was and where SoFi Stadium is.
Inglewood. It's by the airport. It's by LAX.
So that's that.
Maz,
You're up to scoop there on basketball, folks. That's it.
That's all that's going on. KD, and we'll figure all that
Big
out.
Ten tournament starting too.
Good
Michigan,
luck.
Rutgers tomorrow.
Good luck with that. We'll talk more about
We
that
will.
tomorrow. We'll prep you on that. Maz, your favorite time of the day? It's time to go around the NFL.
I will. Let's start it off with, guess what? Black Friday coming up this year. You know, the day after Thanksgiving.
Am I working on that day again?
Black Friday, yeah, you got to work. you know the deal. Terry, you too.
I know that.
You got to work as well.
And Christmas.
But you know, when you're done working, you could go home and watch Amazon Prime because they're going to have the first Black Friday NFL game on national TV on Prime Network for free. Everyone is get to stream this game for free. So you don't have to be a Prime member to see Al and trip over his words, Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit and the gang. You're going to get a free game that day.
Two things about this. Thing one, that means that Amazon Prime is probably going up to about $30 a month probably to pay for it. And thing two, I got a suggestion. It should be all black before that game. That game should be all black. It should be like black uniforms, black field, like blackout. It should be all black.
Yeah, but you know you can't because you can't see the.
Don't need to see.
You can't see the game.
Don't need to see.
Yes, you do. What do you mean you don't need to see the game?
Should the game be in black and white too on TV?
The quarterback white, you be all right. You see his arms. You can see his arms.
Okay. I can see his arms. I can't see anything else. I can't see the ball. I can't see the uniforms.
The ball has white stripes.
So I can see some.
No, you gonna hit right in the eyeball.
Terry, what do you think of Black Friday football? First time?
I like
ever.
it as long as it's not black.
Right, it's not going to be. Braylon's not directing that game. It's going to be fun.
We don't have Braylon in charge of marketing. Good.
It would be great if I was directing because first of all, it'd be the Eagles in all black playing against the Ravens in all black. The black quarterback.
You can't play.
It's a joke.
Black on black.
It was a joke.
How about the Raiders? Got to wear a light colored uniform.
It was why haven't the Raiders ever gone black pants? Can you imagine the Raiders in some black pants with a silver stripe on the side?
Might be good.
I lose my mind.
That might look good.
That would look great.
So you must be a fan of Oakland University who plays
am actually
on the blacktop.
I actually am. They stole that from Oregon. I like it though. Like the Oregon type
Yeah,
feel.
I know the Oregon, man. That court is too busy.
It is so busy.
It is.
I can't really concentrate.
What's it got? Trees, flowers, birds.
It's field, but it's field night. What you expect?
You know what field I hate the most is Boise State.
Boise State. I knew you were going to say that.
I absolutely hate that blue field.
You don't like the home that Zembransky built?
I don't hate that blue
Jared
field.
Zembransky?
That blue field. It just bugs the hell out of me.
How do you feel about red fields?
I don't like that one either.
Who
I know
has
Orchard
a red
Lake.
field?
Orchard Lake,
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's, Oxford. It's got a red field.
Oxford does have a red. Oh, Oxford
close
does.
to where you used to, Concordia.
Oh, Concordia does have a red field.
They have a red field now.
Yeah.
What do they call the Eastern Michigan field? EMU.
Trash.
No, it's got the gray. It's got the gray field.
It's the factory.
Don't talk
man.
about the factory. Is it called the factory?
It's a factory, right? It's textile factory.
Listen, don't talk about Charlie Batch's school that way.
Yeah, you know what?
I went to a game.
You know what you guys should do?
Hold on.
You should play at Eastern.
No, first of all,
Michigan should.
Look, man, we above that. Let me tell you, I went to a game my senior year. Friend of mine, shout out to Jamar. Jamar played at Buffalo, and so Buffalo came in town. This is you know how it's that the holiday week going before the season starts for Michigan, like right there. So it was that week, but they were playing at Eastern. So he comes in from Buffalo, he goes on to Eastern, and I drive down. It's a 10-minute drive. I go to the game. It was the first time ever going to Eastern's football field, like walking around. And I walk in and get in there. I get to the field, sit down in the stands. I just was like no jokes. I'm not cracking a joke. I legitimately, JB, I was like, man, I'm so honored and blessed to play at Michigan because this ain't it. I was just like, this ain't it.
You know what? I think y'all should do something for our directional schools. Michigan should go to
play Eastern.
Yeah.
No, the state should go to
They
Eastern.
should, Terry.
No, wait a
You're
minute.
right.
No, state should have to go.
If you played at Eastern Michigan, there would be seats that have never been used.
Yes.
It was.
The thing about Eastern Michigan, they got the cleanest seats in America because they've never been used.
That's funny.
They're in good shape.
I went to a game this year in the MAC conference. I went to a Bowling Green game at Bowling Green, and some of the seats at the stadium. I had a great time, by the way. But some of the seats they got like they're almost like a seat cushion on the seats. They used to be Bowling Green orange, orange and brown. You go there now, and the seats, they're almost white because the sun has hit them so much. I mean, the place is empty. You know, it's hardly anybody there. But I talked to my man, Pete Spivak.
They were good last year, actually.
They were. So
yeah, but Maz, I wouldn't buy a ticket for a Bowling Green game. I can just drive by my car and watch the game.
Freeway.
Right on the freeway.
It is.
Just keep circling around.
It is on the freeway.
It's right on the freeway. And side note, that my sister went to Bowling Green State. Shout out to Bowling Green State. They got the best Taco Bell right there across from the stadium.
It's right there.
It's right there. And that Taco Bell used to be fresh back in the day. I don't know how it is
So
now.
my buddy Pete is an alma mater. That's Pete Spivak. That's his alma mater. I'm like, all right, I'll go to the game with you. So we sit there, and I'm like,
now what did you call him?
Slippery Pete
Slippery
Spivak.
Pete, that's right.
Slippery Pete Spivak. Anyway, they beat Miami of Ohio, one of the oldest rivalries in football. Bowling Green against Miami. Anyway, I had a good time at the stadium, but you're right. Some of the seats at Eastern Michigan have never, ever been sat on.
Right. And so Michigan should
go there.
No, they should.
They really should. And they should. How about Central?
It should be Michigan State. It's green and white versus
Terry?
green and white.
Yeah,
come to Central.
How about your place?
You said
Terry?
what? Michigan.
Let's say Michigan's got some real balls. Go up to Central.
What's your
We'll
stadium
go up
called?
there. Why not? We'll go fire up the chips.
Terry, what's your stadium called?
It is
fire.
Kelly Short
Oh,
Stadium.
yeah, Kelly Shorts. That's right.
You guys are the ones to come up there. We'll stay up there and party afterwards too, because it goes down to Central.
No. Mount Pleasant's beneath you guys.
No. Eastern was not Mount Pleasant.
They got the casino right there.
Exactly.
No. Well, the casino is
Soaring
great,
Eagle.
but Eastern has the little hamburger place.
Stop it.
The sidetrack.
That's what it's called?
I've been, I know exactly.
Sidetrack is great.
Over there by the
You got to
railroad
give a
track.
shout out to Western Michigan as well. We don't want to forget the Broncos.
The Broncos. Oh, that's the
don't
team that
forget the
lobbies with us. We love Western.
We don't want to forget that. They come
Western
and take a
Michigan.
beating.
They got the best stadium of the directional schools in
Do
the
they
state.
really?
Yeah, they do.
That's good to know.
You can get 40,000 in there.
Oh, wow.
They've had much more national success as well too, like Western has. I think
after
so.
the chips, because Dan Lefevre.
That was a long time ago.
Hey, I went to a game this year. My kid goes to Grand Valley.
All right.
So I went to a Grand Valley football game this year. I had a great time there. Froze my ass off, but I had a great time.
I've been to 2 Grand Valley games.
They make it to the playoffs every year. They're a great team.
Yeah.
They're going to come up to Division I here pretty soon.
Nah.
Yeah, that's the rumor.
It's not happening.
All right. If you say so. Hey,
Get
I'll
us back on track, man.
I'll continue NFL here. All right.
What we got going on?
These are the teams that are supposedly out on Lamar Jackson. The Panthers, the Raiders, and the Falcons are supposedly out on Lamar Jackson. Now, I said yesterday the Falcons were going to be the place. Remember we always had the rumor, the Falcons.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're out.
Maz, I have a major thought on this, and I will let the people know as soon as you tell us about Chili Peppers Tanning Salon.
I can do that. Chili Peppers Tanning, 27 locations, and more on the way, 2 right here on beautiful Woodward Avenue. And if you join the Pepper Club, they're going to beat all competitors by $5 on unlimited tanning. Plus, you get the cleanest salons in the D. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters, ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Centron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. Right now, they have an exclusive offer for Woodward sports fans for their limited edition red 6-pack. That includes the original, sugar-free, as well as the cranberry. Cranberry is my flavor. Suitable for vegans, gluten-free, no preservatives, none of that stuff. Everything you want, everything you need.
all good.
Drink it, live it with Centron.
Hey, Wings are playing tonight, by the way. They're going for 7 in a row. 7 losses
I
in
was
a
about
row
to say, no, they're
against
not.
the Blackhawks.
You know what, man? a quick pivot. The Red Wings, I believe the Bertuzzi thing, I believe the Red Wings season, it hung in the balance of those 2 games against the Ottawa Senators.
You're right.
I believe they went up there and got crushed, and then Steve Eisen made that decision.
Because
if they would have went up there and won, they would have signed Bertuzzi. They would have paid him a little more than they wanted,
I wish they kept
and a
him.
little less than he wanted. But I think they would have been able to meet. But when they went up there and got crushed, he had to do it.
And guess what? He's with Boston now, and they play at Boston Saturday, and Boston is here on Sunday.
That makes sense,
Sunday
but
game,
I think Steve Eisen made that decision before the Ottawa games.
You think so?
Yeah, because I think the way he looked at it is this team is going nowhere anyway, even if it makes the playoffs.
Yeah, you heard him. He said, if we make the playoffs, are we going to win the cup? He says, I know you can do it, but I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that deal was already being talked about. And then once they got mollywopped by Ottawa, then everybody's, okay, yeah, that's it, blah, blah, blah. But I think he looked at it before and said, not going anywhere.
I'll tell you, man, he was so brutally honest in that press conference. It was very refreshing.
And I was about to say, like, hard truths are what people don't want to hear. But I believe that in a city like Detroit, people are ready for it. You know, Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, what they told him 2 years ago? He said, we'll see you in 3 years. He said, in 3 years is when it's going to happen. Steve Eisman said, hey, give us a second. Sky Harris is coming in with some hard truths, not for the city, for its players.
Yeah.
So I think we got some owners or some GMs, excuse me,
I agree,
that are having those hard conversations. So I think we are in good hands. Maz, you asked the question before the break.
I did. The teams that are out on Lamar Jackson, it's the Raiders, the the Ravens might be out.
The Panthers, the Falcons.
But the Panthers and the Falcons.
Here's my thoughts on this, and this is from Dov Kleiman. Update: the Panthers are not expected to pursue the Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. Sources are being told. The Raiders are also unlikely, according to Vinny Manzagor. I can't really see. My bad. My apologies. We already know the Falcons aren't on him either, per Diane ESPN.
Diane Rossini.
Diana Rossini. Yes. Here's my issue with that. Last year, everybody and their mama, including the 4 teams that were just named in that, were in on who? Deshaun Watson. Neither one of those 4 teams have gotten a quarterback yet. And now they're all of a sudden out on a guy that won MVP year 2, that turned a team in year 1 that was not a playoff team, had a losing record, into a playoff team, has made the playoffs 4 out of 5 years, and is like all these things that he's done, and you're out on him. The Atlanta Falcons, how dare you? You mean to tell me Lamar Jackson, and Maz, this is coming from you. This is what you've been throwing out for a minute now. So I'm definitely agreeing with you and giving you the credit. But you mean to tell me Drake London and Kyle Pitts and the running game that they have, and both Arts, because their head coach's name is Art, and so is their owner, and both Arts, and the way that defense played last year, they were in every game. You're talking about a team that does not have a star. Atlanta's used to having stars at positions, at players, whether it's Mike Vick, whether it's Matt Ryan, whether it's Julio Jones, whether it's Devontae Freeman for the 3 years.
Dion.
There you go. Right. Dion, like they're used to stars, and they don't have a star. You have a chance to get a star T-Foss that has already proven he can win in this league, does have a playoff win, and you're looking to re-energize this community, much like Centron, shout out to Centron. And you mean to tell me you're not going to get him when right now the NFC South is in total ruins and Derek Carr is the guy you got to get through, and you're not going after Lamar Jackson?
I think of those 3 teams, the one making the biggest mistake, I was trying to debate between Atlanta and
Carolina?
Vegas.
Oh, Vegas.
Because Vegas, you know, the Raiders just like, we do whatever we want.
Josh McDaniels.
But I think Atlanta's making the biggest mistake because, A, they embrace Michael Vick.
Yes. That's a different culture. That's the same culture.
They've had a lot of superstars.
Isn't Lamar from Atlanta?
He's from Florida. He's from Pahokee County, but it's not far. Those states touch.
Yeah.
It's still a little bit of a
It
drive.
is. I mean, it's 6 hours drive, but you talking airplane. Who's flying? Who's driving these days?
A lot of people drive.
Not somebody that's about to get $200 million.
Well, I'm talking about the fans and people and stuff. Okay, you forget
they driving them. Still. I'm sorry. I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
You know, when Michigan plays at Iowa, you know a lot of people from Michigan drive to Iowa.
Yeah.
They all don't fly in.
Yes, my parents.
Okay, all right.
My parents drove my sophomore and senior year.
Just letting you know.
I drove the Field of Dreams this year.
Mr. High and Mighty over here.
Hey, don't you be that guy. Don't you be. But I agree with Terry. You finish your point on the Falcons. I agree with you.
And Atlanta is the black mecca.
It is.
You know they want
black quarterback.
Fans, they don't want a black quarterback. They want Lamar Jackson.
True.
So,
black
I think they're making the biggest. Well, yeah, black quarterback. I think they're making the biggest mistake of those three teams.
I thought he'd be a great fit on that team. That was the first team I picked, but it's one of the first teams that has eliminated itself.
Yeah.
Unless they're lying.
Yeah, I don't know why you would lie about that, because he's on a non-exclusive quarterback franchise tag, which means that they're going to have to show their cards anyway, and whatever, and it's going to get.
The only quarterback they have is Desmond Ridder, the rookie from Cincinnati,
and he ain't it.
Well, we don't know that, but yeah, he's not Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, he's not it. And I use aim for effect, ladies and gentlemen out there. When I say he's not it, Desmond Ridder might be okay, but Desmond Ridder's not winning you any Super Bowls. Desmond Ridder's not doing anything with that team to change the dynamic.
He's not going to win the MVP in the next 3 years. How about that?
In the next 1 year, because technically Lamar won a year too. Mm-hmm. So this will be that year. So no, and that was Atlanta. We can even go to Carolina. Even with Carolina, the only thing I can see Carolina being out on is kind of Frank Reich is the guy. Frank Reich's the quarterback whisperer, whether it was Carson Wentz, whether it was the last 4 quarterbacks he's been with that have all had their best seasons up underneath him. I don't know if Lamar Jackson is a guy in which he feels like he can coach. A guy he feel like he can coach. When you bring in Lamar Jackson, it's a certain type of offense you got to run. It's a very college offense that you're running right now. I mean, you watch, they went from Joe Flacco to Lamar Jackson in the same season in 2017, and you saw at first it was like, well, Joe Flacco's not mentoring him and this, that, and third. Joe Flacco's like, I ain't never ran this offense. I don't know anything about RPO. I don't know. How can I tell Lamar Jackson how to run a QB draw or a QB sweep or a QB read option over here? So you have to change the offense. That's a big thing. If you're Frank Reich and the Carolina Panthers that have a really good defense, a good offensive line, and a good running back right now, a good running back situation, you got to break your whole thing up, T-Foss and Maz, to bring in Lamar Jackson. Because you're not bringing Lamar Jackson in and running the same offense as Jared Goff. Like, you're not bringing Lamar Jackson in and running the same thing that Zach Wilson or Mike, your boy Mike White, that they ran with the New York Jets. You're not taking him to the Las Vegas Raiders and running the same thing that Derek Carr run. When you bring him in, you got to bust it all up and change it all up. And I think that might be the other problem with as coaches. Coaches don't want to change their whole system for this, and then if it doesn't work, I can't bring in anybody else to run that system.
Well, that's why the Jets are looking at their one guy. You know who they're looking at? They're looking at Aaron Rodgers. And yesterday they flew out to California, Woody Johnson and the crew, to talk to Aaron Rodgers and try to get a deal done. The Jets and Packers are talking. I don't know what it's going to take, but the number one thing now in Green Bay that people are talking about is it's the Jordan Love show. They believe it's a done deal that Aaron Rodgers will not play for the Packers again, and Jordan Love is now the heir apparent and ready to fly.
T-Foss,
see, they should have a parade in Detroit and Minnesota and Chicago so Jordan Love is the quarterback.
Because it's over. The rain is over.
Mm-hmm.
The rain is over.
You really believe that?
Yes.
I know you've got your whole thing that you're saying if he could have played, he would have played already. But when you have Aaron Rodgers and you think you got a chance to win the Super Bowl still, you roll with your guy. You paid him $150 million. I don't think it's because they didn't think Jordan Love couldn't play.
No, a lot of times it's contract. You look at Jordan Love, so we're paying this dude $150 million. You ain't playing, and he should understand that. But when I see him play, I'm like,
But he hasn't played much, Terry.
I know, but he's still, at least you see some.
Why'd they take him in the first round then? They think they just crapped out?
A lot of bad quarterbacks have been taken in the first round. Jamarcus Russell was taken in the first round.
Andre Ware went in the first round.
Andre Ware. And even though Andre Ware was blowing up receivers' chests because he had no touch on the ball, these people here in Detroit, he should be the starter.
Yeah.
Now, I had the advantage of going to Lion practices. I said, this guy's pretty bad. But the fans didn't see him every day in practice.
Yeah, the thing about that, too, is, and Terry, where Maz is coming from on that is when they signed Aaron Rodgers to a deal, they had already had Jordan Love for a year. So this was year 2 for Jordan Love, and then they signed him to the $150 million deal. And my comment was, it was only last year. My comment was, it was Jordan Love's second year, so now it's third. If Jordan Love was that good, they wouldn't have signed Aaron Rodgers to a $150 million deal. But as I'm walking those comments out, as I'm listening to them, I'm kind of paying attention to them. You know what? People get better.
Yeah.
Like, people get better in the span of a year. People get better in reps and practice. People start to learn how to watch film. You see things differently. You pick up on some of the stuff that Aaron did, because Aaron's not going to teach you, but you can pick up on it if you pay attention. So I'm pretty sure that sometime in that span of realizing that Aaron Rodgers has been fleecing them for the last 3 years, and Aaron Rodgers has been holding them hostage since they drafted Jordan Love for the last years, and oh, by the way, hasn't sealed the deal. He did not win either time they were 13-3. Either 3 times, my apologies. He got beat by Jared Goff at home. Yes, I understand Jared Goff had a good season last year. It's still Jared Goff at home.
Now, he lost to that team.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You got to get it right. That team. I think you're looking at Green Bay like, look, man, we tired of this dude, man. Get this dude up out of here. Whatever it takes. We've seen enough out of Jordan Love. They got a young team. They got a ton of draft picks, ton of draft capital. They got a ton of guys already on that squad. They're like, shoot, let the new day begin. And I don't blame them. Like Aaron Rodgers, if I'm Green Bay, you try it. Like, bring him back, pay him another $116, but they still going to have to pay that money, though.
I think Jordan Love is going to surprise some people. We'll see.
I mean,
when?
This year.
Okay.
I think he's going to be better than a lot of people think he is.
Aaron Rodgers didn't look great when he first got to the Green Bay Packers. Let's not forget that.
Yep.
It took Aaron Rodgers 2 years, and he didn't start
And
until
Favre, don't forget, before that.
Atlanta Falcons. Yeah. So I don't know. I wish Jordan Love the best, but at the same time, Minnesota, the Detroit Lions, and Chicago Bears, they better be happy that he's out of there.
Yeah.
Speaking of being out of there, tell me about Guardian Alarm, JB.
Maybe Jordan Love could use some Guardian Alarm.
Yeah, you can. Stay out.
Customized solutions from real experts. They're professional technicians that take time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. With 24/7 professional monitoring, you can call them at any time, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as you need. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work by people who have proven to care. Call this number right here, 1-800-STAY-OUT. One more time, that's 1-800-STAY-OUT. And remember, Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in Downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. That's right. Some favorites during Lent, like the shrimp stir fry, the shrimp Alfredo, and the new fish sandwich, all at your local Big Boy, and especially on those Fridays. How about it? The all-you-can-eat fish fry buffet on Fridays during Lent at Big Boy.
Thank you for joining us. This is the last segment of the day. This beautiful Wednesday. I am Braylon Edwards. This is Ermanni and Edwards for Maz.
You hear it's going to snow again?
I did hear it was
what
coming. I want to say it's coming
on Thursday night, Friday, all day.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah.
Come on, man.
You hate the snow too. How were you with that last snowstorm, Terry? That quick day thing we had last. What was that? Thursday, Friday?
Yeah,
Friday.
It was beautiful where I was, but the snow was so thick. And
you know what cracked the windshield on my kid's car? Just sitting in the driveway.
Oh, just too cold and too much weight. That pressure.
It cracked the damn thing. Cost me. Well, it only cost me. I had my deductible. Cost me $100, but the guy came out to the house and fixed it. You gotta love modern technology. Gotta love modern technology.
But you know what? I was outside when it first started.
Yeah.
And man, that snow hurt.
Yeah,
it did. It was like
they're called wallops or something.
I felt like, man, somebody's kicking my ass. But it was the snow.
I mean, it's
I was
March.
like days. I'm like, oh
we're
my God.
gonna spring ahead of here. I think next week.
We are.
Yeah.
But it's
Or is it this week?
I think it's next week. But
you
it's
know
been
what?
an easy winter, though.
Stop it.
It's been an easy winter.
Stop it. Remember the first day at Comerica Park? That was
Yeah.
April.
I know.
It snowed.
Oh, you talking about the
know.
Miggy home run?
But that wasn't bad snow.
No, this was the opening of Comerica Park.
Oh, opening.
Back in the
In
day.
99 and 2000.
Yeah.
When
it
did
was
Miggy
it
hit
was
the home
raining.
run? Was that 2 years ago?
No, it was last year.
Last year.
The snow. Oh, it was
Last
last year.
year.
Yeah, it was last year.
The Snow Globe home run.
He's
Yo.
talking about the opening of Comerica Park. It was
yeah,
like
that's April.
25
We
to
get
99.
snow in April. This
Yeah.
is March.
I know, but it sucks. Can I just say it
does.
sucks?
So I know you guys are very right about the technology. I love the era we live in. So my Fire Stick remote has been going on. It was been conking out for about the last month. So I knew it was eventually it was done. So yesterday, before I came to the show, it stopped working. It conked out. Ordered one before I left the house. Amazon. I mean, the fulfillment center is right around the corner. It was at the house.
Wow.
Before I got there. And then when I got there, I realized I actually had an extra remote on my phone. So I was using my phone as a Fire Stick remote for the first 2 hours, and then
Pretty cool.
I hooked it up. Yeah, technology is great.
Well, I got
Technology
two
is
man toys in the last couple months that I absolutely love.
Is this
No,
suitable? Is this suitable for air? This seems a little X-rated.
I got three. No.
I'm
It's
joking.
good. I got finally got the theater recliners,
Okay.
and I got the
Did you go to
sound-
Gardner White?
Huh?
Did you go to Gardner White?
I sure did.
Shout out to Gardner White. We had to tell you about that home bracket challenge, Gardner White. Keep going.
And I got a sound bar.
Oh.
So
What took you so long?
I don't know. I
the hell?
didn't think
He
about
had to get
it.
the hat game up first.
Right, I had to do that
The
first.
hat game first.
The
But I
sound
didn't- I
bar
didn't
came
think-
out like 20 years ago.
I know, but I didn't think about getting
Look at
one.
Maz talking. Maz. Look at Maz busting.
Only 10 years, maybe.
Oh,
Did you know
only
the first thing I
$20.
listened to when I got my sound bar?
What?
Top Gun Maverick.
Oh.
For one reason. I didn't want to see the movie. I wanted to hear the Jets.
Oh.
What'd you get? Did you get a Samsung, LG? What'd you get?
Oh, good call.
You know?
Look at Maz out here.
Samsung. He knows what's happening.
He does.
And the
All right.
other
I'm the old
man
guy
toy
now.
that I got a griddle.
Ooh.
Love this thing. So
Is that the outdoor one?
it's outdoor one.
Yeah. I know what that is. It's got the black top on it.
Yeah, the black top.
So your wife won't see you like soon. Like you just gonna be in the basement.
Well, I can't put it in the backyard yet. I've been cooking in the driveway
Yeah.
because there's too much snow in the
What are
backyard.
you going to cook up on that griddle?
What have I done?
No, what are you going to do?
My
what
first
are you looking
meal.
forward to?
What's the
I
first
did the
meal?
Japanese steakhouse.
There
I
you
made
go.
steak,
Yes.
chicken, and chopped up pork.
How great is that when it's sizzling and stuff?
Oh
and you're
yeah, just
flipping
making
it?
that noise. It smells delicious. I made chicken fried rice
Ooh.
and grilled vegetables with
See you out here,
the-
PF Chang's.
the red peppers, bamboo shoots, whatever those things
Yeah.
are, and mushrooms.
I went to
And
Chang's
onions.
last week. That is good stuff.
PF Chang's is one of those
is good stuff.
those chains that have never let me down.
Yeah.
It's a chain, but
It never let me.
It's
Like,
damn
crazy.
good. It's
PF
got good atmosphere, too, if you go to the right one.
PF Chang's. Oh yeah,
The one at Partridge Creek is the best one.
You think so?
I know so.
It is. It's better than the one in
Troy.
Livonia. Well, there's
Yeah.
one in Livonia.
There's
Yeah.
one.
I
Yeah,
don't go out that way.
I live out there. The one in Livonia is nice. It's cool. It's alright.
Livonia's
One
like
in
another
Partridge Creek
state.
is a little bit. It doesn't stink.
No,
Is it-
Livonia's another state, I said.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
'Cause he's
He's
for
grown-
us,
yeah.
like
It's down the
we-
street from me.
we never go to St. Clair Shores
Hell no.
because it's
Hey, for
way the heck out of it.
Unless
Your
Maz
loss.
invites me.
Your loss.
I mean, it's boating season.
I mean, I've been there.
You don't want to come to the nautical mile?
I've been there.
The most
I
boats per capita in the United States?
burnt.
Yeah. The
I love-
Ken Cal cruiser
I love
on
Michigan.
the
We
water?
just make stuff up.
Wow.
Like, who's ever proven that?
That's a fact.
Proven by who?
I don't know. I just read it somewhere.
Proven by who? Proven by somebody from St. Clair Shores. Hey, you know we're #1 boats per capita.
Shout out to the Shores.
Right.
And nobody ever checked them.
number one bowling area.
Yes.
No bowling.
per capita.
We,
no,
we still got our bowling alley.
now bowling, roller skating, and spades. Like definitely, Michigan we do it better than
We
anybody.
got harbor lanes, lakeshore lanes, and shore lanes within 2 miles of each other.
Okay,
Pretty good.
We got some stuff now. We got
Pretty
some.
good.
I got a couple by me. I got a couple homes. First 300 hour bowl is down the street.
Who told you threw a 300?
Hartford Lanes.
Was that a league 300?
Nah.
I'm sorry, don't count, sir.
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't count, sir.
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't count.
It does count. It does
It's got to
count.
be a sanctioned 300.
Well, wait a minute. Was it on the board?
Did you do it on one lane? Did you do it on one lane or did you switch back and forth?
Switch back and forth.
All right.
Because the dude that taught me how to bowl, he made me do it the right way. Switch back and forth. Anyway, man, I'm done with you, man. Terry, we appreciate having you on the show. T-Foss, man, we appreciate having you on the show.
Thanks for having me. And
anytime, man.
Hey, you're on the final word.
We'll call you up to the show anytime
All
you
right,
want,
anytime.
man.
I'm here. I don't have anything else to do.
Hell of a job by you out there today, Fletch, JB, and Maz. Appreciate you guys tuning in, listening to us. Big show, man. Thanks for tuning in and getting that Woodward
Thanks
Sports
to the
Network
chat.
That chat's on fire.
Chat repped us today.
The chat has been doing the thing, and I appreciate all the love that you guys are sending around Ermanni and his family. Keep praying. He will definitely need that. We will be back tomorrow, though. Gonna wrap this thing up. 2 more shows this week. It's gonna be fun. We'll have some more stuff on the Pistons tomorrow, as well as the Red Wings. We'll see what they do tonight. Yeah, that's it. We're out of here.
See ya.
You said there, fool.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots. He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.